Welcome to YouManagement, Carthage's video series designed to help you succeed in college. In these videos, students will share with you what they have learned and why these lessons are essential not only to your future college career, but to life after college as well. In this section of YouManagement, we'll talk about the importance of finance as a part of your college experience. Level, it's time to start trying to form financial independence from the bank of mom and dad. That's not to say you should completely isolate yourself from potential interest-free financial aid, but you should start trying to make your own way. Because of this, you should start thinking about acquiring a paying job. Carthage offers many opportunities to its students. You can find work in places like the various restaurants around campus, the various offices and buildings, as well as academic departments. For this reason, you can earn income while also ensuring that your work schedule never interferes with your academic schedule. Jobs are not limited to those on campus. The surrounding Kenosha-Racine area is full of potential places of employment. With the thought of acquiring employment, you may want to update or create a resume. Where do you work? Do you ever encounter scheduling conflicts? Do you enjoy your job?
I work for a finance company right now. I have an internship with them, and occasionally I have issues with scheduling because it is in Chicago and it's a little crazy going back and forth. Being in college, you learn how to budget your time and how to make time for the things that you need to prioritize. And I've had a really positive experience with my job. It's challenging, but it's a lot of fun too.
I do enjoy my job. I work for my parents, so I do a lot of their finance stuff, like accounting for their company online through a server. So my hours are pretty flexible, so I never really run into many scheduling conflicts with that.
I work in the Semler Health and Fitness Center within the TARC, so that's the general weight room. I do enjoy it a lot. Usually a lot of people come and work out, so it's never really too boring, and if it is, I usually can do my homework after doing a few different tasks that I'm required to do for my job. I do sometimes encounter scheduling conflicts, such as sometimes I have to work usually in the afternoon. It's pretty easy to get it around your class schedule, but if you're involved in different organizations, sometimes you do miss things.
A common misconception is that scholarships are only offered to high school students. False! There are 1,000 scholarships that are offered annually to college students. Carthage not only offers exclusive scholarships to its students, but you can find external scholarship opportunities online using websites like FastWeb or College Prowler. Carthage is even kind enough to send out emails alerting you students to new available scholarship opportunities. Stay persistent and put in the effort to search and seize. Scholarships are an excellent source of money. Where else will you have the opportunity to receive free money? And you may have to look into applying for loans. There are generally two types of loans. There are need-based loans. The amount of money you can apply for with the need-based loans is determined by free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. Generally, these loans are subsidized, meaning the government will pay the interest on your loans, or deferrable, meaning that the government will allow you to put off paying the loan until after you graduate. If the loans are not subsidized or deferrable, then they typically offer the lowest interest rates. Non-need-based loans. These loans are generally offered by banks, private organizations, or even the college itself. Generally, these loans are not subsidized and have higher interest rates. For those of you unfamiliar with interest rates, essentially there is some fraction of your total loan that you pay on top of the original amount you borrowed. For example, if you borrowed $10,000 with an annual interest of 5%, you would pay an additional $50 per year until you finish paying off all $10,000. Knowing how to plan and forecast money usage is crucial. Therefore, it's important to learn how to budget. However, before we discuss how to budget, it is important to review some of the basic, yet key, concepts in regards to the use of money. A need is anything that you would feel a state of deprivation without, such as food, water, shelter, etc. A want is anything that is essential to your survival but would add luxury or efficiency to your life, such as a new laptop, that hot new phone case, or those sweet K-Swiss shoes. Keep this concept in mind when you're allocating funds in your budget. Do you use a budget? Do you have any tips for new budgeters? Has it helped you?
I'm a really random spender, very impulsive buyer, so one app that I like to use a lot is Mint, and it's made by Intuit. It's really good for organizing all your credit cards, debit cards, your checking account, and you can even plug in like purchases you make with cash. And it does a good job of tracking patterns in your spending, and it'll tell you if you're overspending on certain things. But it's really good just to get a good overview of the kinds of things you spend money on.
Yes, I use a budget to make sure that everything, I don't run out of money. A lot of the time it's real easy to just go online and check your bank statements, or there's different apps out there on your phone that you can get, that you can literally put it in there, and then it tracks your spending and lets you know how you're doing, if you're kind of spending a little too much this month or whatever it may be. And also, being a finance major, I do have an Excel document where I kind of put in my fixed expenses.
Yes, I definitely use a budget. It's really important. And I use a website called mint.com, which shows you what you're spending your money on, and you can hook up your different bank accounts to it and see where you're maybe going a little bit overboard.
Budgets may appear to be scary spreadsheets with ominous numbers, but realistically, they are quite simple. Using a program like Excel is very helpful when making a budget. Essentially, you need to first start with how much money you believe you will earn that month. Then you will need to assess mandatory costs such as rent, loans, utility, etc. that will be due that month. After this, you will have to do the hard part, estimating prices for essentials such as food, hygiene products, etc. Add up all of these expenses and subtract them from your revenue column. If you have a positive number, that means you have extra money to either save for the next month or spend on other, potentially unnecessary items. If you have a negative number, you may need to reallocate or lower the amounts that you plan on spending for your non-mandatory expenses. If all of this went over your head, you can use a free online websites like budgetsimple.com to help you budget. Carthage operates using a point system for its restaurants, each point corresponding to $1. You're allocated a certain number of points each week, and after you spend that amount, you dip into your rollover points. Because of this, you should attempt to budget or plan out your point expenditures at the beginning of the week. To help you do this, you may want to take all of your rollover points and divide them by the number of weeks that you'll be at Carthage to come up with an allowance of rollover points. A helpful hint to saving your points is to have breakfast in your dorm. How do you use your points?
I try and use my points wisely because it's easy to blow them all on lattes at Starbucks. But if you go to the caf, you can get a lot of bang for your buck.
Points, I burn through them pretty quick early on in the year, so towards the end of the year I really gotta budget myself as far as points go, so it's a lot of eating smaller meals, and then I'll go off campus for meals at the end of the night.
I try to make my points last throughout the week as best as possible. So if that means that I have more food in my room, or if I have to go off campus a few times, that's what I try to do.
One final thing to make note of is the use of credit card and debit cards. A credit card allows you to pay your bills in increments. If you pay the minimum allowance per month, you will have to pay some amount of interest. If you pay your bill off in total each billing period, then you will not have to pay interest. If you decide to use a credit card, it's important to know what is acceptable to put on that card. If you're going to make an investment in something tangible that you would use for an extended period of time, such as a suit, you should use a credit card if you cannot cover all the costs up front. Do not use your credit card on rapid consumables, which are goods that you use up quickly, such as snack foods, pencils, etc. They are not worth paying interest on. A debit card is generally attached to your bank account. It serves as a medium between your money in the bank and your wallet. Most debit cards will not charge additional fees to use them unless you withdraw money from an ATM, in which case you're paying a convenience fee for the access to cash. Because of this, a debit card is suggested over the use of a credit card. Do you use a credit card, debit card, or neither? And why do you do so?
I believe it's best to get a credit card as soon as you can, as long as you are smart with your spending, because building credit's a huge thing, especially later in life when you have to, maybe apply for a loan for a house, take out a mortgage, whatever it may be. So I believe trying to get credit while you're in college is one of the things that's really important. And if you, at the very least, get a debit card, because you don't want to be carrying cash around all the time.
I use both a credit card and a debit card. I predominantly use my debit card, but I think it's important to have credit when you're going to be graduating and wanting to get an apartment or a car or anything. So I use the credit card just to build credit, but my debit card mostly because I think it's too easy to spend a lot when you have a credit card.
I use both. I use my debit card for all my personal purchases, of anything that I'm just like having fun doing. Then I use my credit card for gas for whenever I drive places and for bigger purchases that I need to make.
Establishing financial independence, earning revenue, setting up a budget, and planning for your expenditures have all been covered within this video. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on YouManagement.